And we worship ourselves all the time by the decisions that we make and the things that we do and what we spend our time on. And it's a good reminder to ourselves as we remind God, God, you are El Elyon. You are God Most High. You are the only one who is worthy of praise. And before I do this thing that's going to praise myself, or before I follow this other God that you don't want me to follow, that I'm trying to chase after, I'm going to remind myself that you are God Most High. Okay? Which one did you want to look at? What was the one that you said? God of Banners, which is, we talked about it this morning. It's Exodus 17. All right, so we'll go to Exodus 17. When I asked Ben if he would say the prayer and show us how he prays the names of God to remind himself who he is, this is the one that he said. So, Exodus 17. And we'll go to we'll start in verse 8. Exodus 17, verse 8. So in this story, you guys know this story, and we're going to read it, but I'm going to kind of recap it for you here before we read it. We have the Israelites are in the wilderness. They've come out of slavery. They've crossed the Red Sea. They're living in the desert because they can't get things right. And the Amalekites come out to fight them. And the Amalekites are so much better and stronger and more powerful, they don't have a chance. And so Moses goes and stands on top of a hill overlooking the plain where they're going to fight. And he holds up his staff and his hand, and he stands there. And as long as he's holding it up, the Israelites are winning the battle. But as soon as he lets his hands fall when he gets tired, then the Amalekites start to win the battle. So they come and they stick a rock under him for him to sit on, and Aaron holds up one arm, and somebody else holds up the other arm, and they make sure his arms stay up for the whole battle. And then at the end of it, they're going to use this new name of God, and it's really a neat one that they use here. So let's read the story real quick, starting in verse 8. Then the Amalekites fought Israel at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose some of our men, then fight the Amalekites tomorrow. For I will stand on the top of the hill. I will hold in my hand the staff Elohim told me to take along." And Joshua did as Moses told him and fought the Amalekites, while Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. And as long as Moses was holding up his hands, Israel would win. But as soon as his hands went down, the Amalekites would start to win. Eventually, Moses' hands were very heavy. So Aaron and Hur took a rock and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron was holding up one hand and Hur the other. And his hands remained steady all day until sunset. And Joshua defeated the Amalekite army in battle. And Yahweh said to Moses, "Write this reminder on a scroll and make sure Joshua hears it too. I will completely erase any memory of the Amalekites from the earth." And Moses built an altar and called it Yahweh Nisi. He said, because a hand was lifted against Yah's throne, Yahweh will be at war against the Amalekites from one generation to the next. Someone who's reading a not name of God version, in verse 15, what did he name the altar? Yours says Jehovah Nisi? Yours says what? The banner? Okay, so this name of God is the Lord is my banner. Which at first you're like, that's kind of weird. I don't know what that means. But what he's saying is, if you're in a war, I read a lot of like fantasy